Yo, what's going on? I am Matt O'Leary, back on the stream. What's going on? Have a few things to get to today. I know that I didn't do a preview video, and that's on me with the holiday season going on. Got a little busy, so I figured, you know what? I'll hop on the live stream for a little bit and just get this thing going, man. It's going to be an absolute blast. And I'll answer your questions in the comments. I'll, just hop in, give you my thoughts on the game. And, we're going to start with who's out for the Browns, because there's a ton of people out for this Browns team. Jedrick Wills absolutely is gone. He's on the COVID list. Left tackle has played great for them this year. The wide receiver group, oh my God. Landry, Higgins, Peoples-Jones, all out of this game. Absolutely wild that pretty much any wide receiver that Baker Mayfield has thrown to this year is not going to play in this game, which is just, it's going to be a lot to deal with. But, we'll see what happens there. My guess is that they're going to try to run the ball a ton with Hunt and Chubb. Now, that kind of plays into the Jets' strength a little bit, because when you look at what this team is actually good at, to me, the Jets' strength is their run defense. Even without Quinnen Williams, they still have guys like Henry Anderson, with all his flaws, is very good against the run. You go down the line with the Folu Fatukasi or Nathan Shepard. Those guys are really good against the run. And, to me, it's just, if they're going to be able to contain those guys, maybe they keep this game close. But even so, I think Baker Mayfield's going to be able to have a good enough day for this team to win by at least 10 points. He has much improved stats this year. 25 touchdowns to only 8 interceptions. He was a turnover machine last year. I got to give credit to Kevin Stefanski. I think he's done a really good job since becoming the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. I know they're coming on the road, and they have a ton of guys who are hurt right now, or not hurt, but on the COVID list and can't play. But let's hope that they have enough to get the job done. I think they do. And with Baker's performance against the Giants last week, he had a great game. He had a rating over 100 in 3 of his last 4 games. He had like 297 passing yards. Just absolutely incredible day for him. So I think the Browns win this one 27-13. I still think they win. I don't think the Jets have a repeat performance. That was like their Super Bowl almost. They had that one win. They got that out of the way. And now at this point, it's just a matter of getting through. And we're going to get into some of the comments now, and we'll kind of just hang out for a while here. So let's see what we got going on in the chat. A lot of talk about the... Yes, Greg, yes, I'm from Long Island. Is it obvious? South Shore, Long Island. Let's talk about the Jaguars briefly. Can they have any chance against the Bears? I don't know. I really thought so earlier on, but when you look at how good the Bears have been playing, now granted they've done most of their damage at home. Mitch Trubisky on the road is not nearly the same player that he is at home, so maybe that's something that gets, positive vibes going their way. The Mike Glennon revenge game. Can we get lucky enough for a Mike Glennon revenge game? That would be incredible if you're the New York Jets, because, obviously Trevor Lawrence is a prize at this point, and as much as I might like Zach Wilson, or other people might like Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence is head and shoulders above both of those prospects, or whether you want to keep Sam Darnold if the Jets pick second, whatever the case may be. Trevor Lawrence would just help so much with this Jets team, and having the number 1 overall pick would help so much. So yeah, I'm obviously rooting for the Jags a ton in this game. It's just a matter of, do they have enough? I don't know. I'm praying. I hope so. I really hope they do. It's a home game for them. But they don't have a ton of weapons, so that scares me a little bit. Let's talk about the Gase rumors. So Ryan made a video from Jets Talk 24/7. If you haven't seen it already, Basically, he's saying there's a chance the Jets could move on from Adam Gase after this game. It's a rumor because they could start the search for head coaching a little bit earlier than some might have anticipated, which, I mean, I'm for it at this point. I wanted to fire Gase pretty much right after they made the decision to hire him. I was not a fan of the hire like most people. But if they fire him after this game, they can kind of get the wheels in motion for the interview process. They could do Zoom interviews, which is, I'm all about it. We got to move on and figure out the future. The Jets almost never, the last time they fired a coach midseason was the 70s. So it's been a really, really, really long time. Can they change that now? God, I hope so. It doesn't really matter one way or the other. To me, I'd prefer them to just rip the Band-Aid off, start the head coaching search as soon as possible. At the same time, if he's coaching week 17, I don't know how much of a difference it's going to make. But I can't wait to get this guy out of here. I can't wait for the video to drop after the decision to move on. At the end of the day, yeah, I really hope that they do decide to move on from him. But I'm just, if I had to put the chances on him getting fired after this game, I'm saying maybe it's like a 20% chance. I think I'd be surprised. Would it be the right decision to move on from him? Yeah, absolutely. I would do it. I would have done it already, but if you haven't done it yet, sure, I would do it now. But I don't know if I buy into the Jets doing it at this point. Let's see. What else we got? What are these reports of us keeping Darnold is a comment I see in here. So I think it's way too early to know. I don't buy into those rumors. And the reason why, I just made the video yesterday about the plan if they keep Sam Darnold. It's not my preferred plan with how he's played this year going into his 4th year. That scares me a little bit. But why I made the video again was just because I wanted to talk about what I would do to optimize Sam Darnold if he decides to keep him. For the rumors, I don't buy into anything right now. They don't have the new coaching staff, so we don't know what they want to do. And Joe Douglas might only get one chance to draft a quarterback. Is he going to roll with Sam Darnold, who he did not draft, or take his own guy? I would lean that he would take his own guy. So I don't know if I buy that rumor just yet. Maybe they end up keeping him. Like, sure, there's a chance if the new coaching staff likes him, sure. But I don't know how much I could buy into him being the guy to, going forward. Unfortunately, I thought he could be. I absolutely was excited about him going into this year, but with how he's played, it's been a massive regression. So I really don't buy into any of those rumors right now. It's a wait and see game for me. So we'll have to see. Let's see. What else do we got? The Jets better draft Wilson. I really like Zach Wilson a lot. I would take him at number 2. I wouldn't trade back. I think he's my quarterback 2 in this draft. And if you are picking second, and if you have the 32nd ranked offense in the league, you should probably take a quarterback like that. And if your quarterback has played like the worst starting quarterback in football, you should probably take one. And I think he is good enough to perform at the next level. I know everyone's going to point to, well, BYU, who do they play? Well, he beat USC last year. He put up a good performance this year against San Diego State, who has one of the better defenses in college football. He looked really good in that bowl game. I understand it was against a bad team, but I like his traits. He has a great arm, a cannon for an arm. He can get the ball down the field. His deep ball accuracy is really good to me. When I look at these two quarterbacks who could be there at 2, Justin Fields and Zach Wilson. I know that Justin Fields hasn't had great performances the last couple of weeks, and against big-time programs, he struggled a little bit, but he has a lot of good physical traits. To me, it's the processing of things, which that scares me a little bit. As for Zach Wilson, what I think sets him apart was he has the big arm. He has the ability to throw from different arm slots. It's the decision-making of throwing the ball into tight places where I believe that in a good situation that could be coached out of him. Where with Justin Fields, the actual reading of the defenses might be a little bit more challenging to coach. And with Sam Darnold, he is in his 3rd year, and he's still struggling to read a defense. So that's just another reason why I think that Gase has done significant damage to him. Maybe he figures it out somewhere else. Again, people are going to point to Ryan Tannehill, but am I going to bet on that if I have the number 2 pick? I don't know. I'm taking Zach Wilson, I think. Let's see. What do we got here? Fields makes some mistakes as Sam. He holds the ball for too long. Oh, okay. Defensive coordinator prediction for 2021. I like this one. So I think depending on who the head coach is, right? Because I heard Wink Martindale as potentially someone who's a candidate who is the Baltimore Ravens defensive coordinator. So if they bring him in, I think you're more focused on who the offensive coordinator could be. But let's just say any head coach, some candidates that I'd be excited about for defensive coordinator. Dan Quinn, I know he wasn't a good head coach, but I think he absolutely is someone who could, provide insight to, especially if they go with a younger coach who maybe doesn't have a ton of experience, could help out in that regard. And I think he's a much better defensive coordinator. Wade Phillips, I know, is old, but I think he's done a really good job in this league for a long time as a coordinator. Who else we got? Marvin Lewis, I would trust as a coordinator. He's someone who I think could absolutely be someone who I would want to bring in as a coordinator, not a head coach. Richard is someone from the Cowboys who always seems like in the mix for head coaching spots, but maybe he'll have to take a coordinator spot first. So those are four names who I think I'd be comfortable with. I like Quinn. I like Lewis. And we'll have to see it and probably go from there. But I think I would like someone with coaching experience, especially if the Jets are going with an Arthur Smith, a Brian Daboll, Joe Brady, someone like that. Now, if they go the college route and they bring in a Matt Campbell or a Pat Fitzgerald, then you can bring somebody from college for all I care. That's more of someone who's going to oversee everything. But if they do hire an offensive coordinator to be the head coach, which I'm not necessarily opposed to that idea, it depends on who it is, then I would go with a veteran with head coaching experience as the defensive coordinator. Let's see what else we got. I think Frank Gore should coach the team. LOL. That's great. Marvin Lewis scares me. I get that as a head coach. I wouldn't want him. Score prediction, 24-13 is my score prediction for the Browns to win. Just going back through the comments now. Okay, here's one from Jeff Sanders that's interesting. What happens when Sam throws for 300 yards and 2 touchdowns? I hope he does that. He hasn't thrown for over 250 yards this year, which is, again, another reason why it might be time to move on. But I don't know. There's a lot of factors to why Sam is struggling. Part of it's the team around him. I understand that. Part of that is the coaching. Part of that's the lack of quarterback coach and a real offensive coordinator. Part of it also is on him. There's so many factors that go into this. It's complicated. It's not so black and white. So I kind of understand where people are coming from when they say that they want to keep Sam Darnold. I like the kid. To me, I think it's more of an emotional attachment for why some people are looking to keep a Darnold. But, we'll have to see what the new coaching staff wants. To me, that's the biggest thing, is you do with whatever that head coach wants to do and make life as easy for the head coach as humanly possible. Douglas and the new head coach, whoever that may be, should be the ones in charge of football operations. If it's the Johnson family and they say, hey, listen, we got to keep Sam Darnold, then I think you're really hindering what you could do at the head coaching position in the long term. Caden, no, I'm not live streaming the game. I'm just on here for the pregame, just hanging out. Do you think Marcus Maye gets re-signed? I do. I think he signs. I think he's an important player on this team. For all the jokes and stuff like that we have with Jamal Adams, he's not the caliber of player as Jamal, but he is a very, very, very good safety. Very good safety. And I would pay him, similar money to what Logan Ryan just got. 4 years, maybe $10 million a year, so $11 million at the most. I don't think it's going to cost you a whole lot more than that, but he's a very good player and a captain on this team. Yeah, I want to bring him back. I don't want to keep him around. Yes, Jamie, slap that like button. Agree. Any news on Alex Lewis? Not that I've heard of. I'm not sure if he would come back to this team next year. Maybe he just needs a new start. To go somewhere else and get right. I mean, obviously you got to worry about your health first and mental health first. I completely get that. And, maybe New York isn't a good situation for him. And if we're being completely honest, the Jets probably could use an upgrade at guard to improve that position. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets just move on from him and let him get that fresh start somewhere else and then either bring in a Sheriff or a Thuney in free agency or maybe draft a guard early on in this draft. What do you think of the Jags sitting out Minshew again, as well as Robinson being out? Yeah, that is Robinson out, or is he playing? I thought Robinson was potentially playing in this game. As far as the Jags sitting Minshew, I think Minshew gives them the best chance to win. There were a couple games where Glennon played it close, but I just don't know if they have enough to get it done. I really don't. I wish they do. That would make life so much easier if the Jets have the number 1 pick. In terms of what they do at the quarterback position, Trevor Lawrence makes that easier. Head coaching search, I mean, come on. Would you rather come in and potentially be coaching a generational talent like Trevor Lawrence? Or at number 2, you really do have that debate of, do you stick with Sam Darnold? Do you take Fields? Do you take Wilson? It gets so much more complicated at that point. So the number 1 pick is really going to make a difference here. Hey, I'm going to bury, this is from V-Man, hey, I'm going to bury a Joe Namath card by the Jets' old training facility in Peekskill, New York for good luck next year. Do you think it's a good idea? Yeah, let's do it. Matt looks like he got Vine famous. LOL. I was not a Vine guy. I am on TikTok, though. It's Snoopy. How much you want to bet Tyson punches the camera and throws his headset today? Glennon knows Chicago, though. That's true. The video we made yesterday, keeping Sam is my most ideal choice with the 2nd pick. And if he sucks, you have a good team to plug in. Okay. I could kind of see that. I guess I could kind of see that thinking. To me, that just gives me 2017 vibes where the Jets had a chance to take Pat Mahomes or Deshaun Watson. I admit that I was wrong about that draft class. I don't know if I wanted to go with Jamal Adams, but Watson's injury history worried me a little bit, and Mahomes I thought was a little bit more of a wild card. So I kind of gave McCagnon the benefit of the doubt, but long term, or if you want to go revisionist history, that was absolutely a mistake. Big college ball guy. I try to follow it more now. I don't necessarily have like a college team, but as I started covering the Jets more in this capacity over the last couple of years, I have tried to get more involved in the college game, and I am researching players more, especially as the draft comes around. Once the season, the NFL comes to a close, then I will dive more into the prospects, more mock drafts, and things like that in the future. Let's see. Matt, did you hear the rumor that if the Jets get the number pick, Joe D will keep Sam Darnold? I did hear the rumor. I don't know how much I buy it. They don't even have a new coaching staff yet. I think you got to do whatever the coaching staff wants. Let's say they bring in Matt Campbell, like who's pretty much a number 1 choice, and he really wants Sam Darnold, then I guess, okay, you do that. But if your person comes in, whoever that may be, your number 1 candidate, and they're like, hey, I really like Justin Fields, or I really like Zach Wilson, then you go, okay, let's go from there and build the team up that way. To me, with what Darnold showed this year, it scares me going into his 4th year. Again, I'll say it again, I sound like a broken record. Can he turn it around? Yes, but it is a really big risk betting on him. If that's the case, why take a quarterback if you want to be run first? Go Sewell. You could. Again, that's absolutely a scenario. Does it make sense to draft Sewell as an emergency left tackle if Becton gets hurt? No, I don't necessarily think so. To me, that's more of you're going to put one on the right side, and it's probably going to be Sewell at that point. He's going to play right tackle, and then you have 2 bookend tackles who are really good. I don't know if my one issue with that is I don't know if right tackle's been a huge issue for the Jets this year. It's the interior of the offensive line that's been terrible. So, no, I'm not drafting Wyatt Davis at 2. But if you want to maybe trade back and take Wyatt Davis, okay, we can maybe talk me into that. I don't know. To me, I'm still in team draft a quarterback, but there are scenarios in which I think you can build a good roster by focusing on the offensive line as well. Let's see, what else do we got in here? Anything good? Let's see what we got in the comments said. Would you be happy with Daboll as the head coach? Yeah, I really like Brian Daboll a lot. I think what he did with Josh Allen is truly tremendous. I was not a fan of Josh Allen coming out of college. I think he struggled in year 1, got a little bit better in year 2. They put pieces around him, and then in year 3, they go out and get Stephon Diggs, a really good number 1 receiver. And I think he's done a great job with the play calling and just putting Allen in a position to succeed. They're not making life hard on him, while the Jets have done the complete opposite on that. I made a video on it a few weeks ago at this point where the Bills have done a great job. McDermott's a good coach. Daboll's a good coach. And he's worked with some really good head coaches in his past. He worked under Nick Saban, too, at Alabama. I really like him a lot. I think he has head coach written all over him, and I would be all for it because I think he could potentially, A, revive Sam Darnold, or B, put his young quarterback, whether it be Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, whoever, in a good position to succeed from that point. What grade do you give the Becton pick after watching this season? A. I think he has been phenomenal. That was a big swing from Joe Douglas because I think the consensus would have been go with Tristan Wirfs, who maybe was a more safer player, but Becton definitely has had the higher ceiling, or had the higher ceiling due to his size, and he has hit on that, man. He looks legit. He looks like he could be a top 10 tackle in this league. Probably should have been a Pro Bowler. Becton and Quinnen Williams, in my eyes, should have been Pro Bowlers this year. Both of them had phenomenal seasons. And the best part, they're 21 and 22 years old. So the Jets do have some good building blocks. I am really excited about Mekhi Becton going forward. And it's been an absolute blast to watch him play on a week-to-week basis because there's not many bright spots, but having a legitimate left tackle. And, I thought he would be good in the long term, but I thought in year one, maybe there'd be ups and downs. He'll struggle a little bit, but he's been solid all year long, and maybe had one or two bad games this year. Let's see. Friend said, get Watson. It'd be a franchise-saving move. You could, if you want to trade the number 2 pick and get Deshaun Watson. I love Deshaun now in the NFL. I think he's great. I don't think the Texans are going to move on from him, though. So I think it's either draft a quarterback or keep Sam. People destroy Lamar Jackson, so I'm not scared to go Fields. Matt, what do you think? So a couple of things. I think that Lamar Jackson does have to get better as a passer. It is working so far in the NFL for sure. Long term, it scares me a little bit, but I do think that Fields has the potential to be a better passer than Lamar Jackson. To me, I think Fields can be more of a Dak Prescott kind of a player, which I think has a better chance of leading you in a comeback win where you have to throw the ball, where Lamar seems like if you get out in front early, then they could run up the score on you and put up good points. But if you have to throw to get back into the game, I'm not so positive Lamar can do that. So I think there's a chance that Fields could be even better than Lamar just based off of his traits alone. What up, David? What's up, Gangrene David? Hope you're doing well. Thoughts on taking Russo at 2, an edge? I would probably trade back at that point if that's who you want to take. Let a team like maybe the Panthers move up, the Falcons move up, the Bengals even move up if you just want to do a pick swap and get an extra second-round pick because they absolutely are going to want Penei Sewell. So that to me, that seems like a logical decision for if you're looking to draft an edge, then I'd absolutely move back. I wouldn't take him at 2. If Darnold shows out these last 2 games, where do you think they go from here? Keep him or trade him? My issue is this. You would be basing your opinion on Sam Darnold based on the last 2 to 3 games and ignoring the first, 10, 11 games that he's played this year. That scares me a little bit. I think that would be a mistake. Some people, not everyone, but some people did put a lot of stock into winning those 2 games last year in Week 16 and Week 17 against the Bills and against the Steelers, and how the team played hard for Adam Gase, and they finished the season strong at 7-9, and the momentum would continue over to this year. Well, they started 0-13, so that I don't really buy into that whole momentum thing. I think you have to look at the larger sample size instead of just the last couple of games. If he does play well and ball out the last 2 games, I'll tell you this, it'll make the decision a whole lot harder, and there'll be a lot more debates, but I just don't know if it's the best thing long term. No, I'm not going to be streaming the game. Could we get a second rounder for Darnold? I still think absolutely you can get a second rounder for Sam Darnold. Teams overpay for the quarterback position all the time. I know he hasn't played like a second round player. You would think, okay, maybe get like a 3rd or a 4th for him, but I think because people put so much value into the quarterback position. You see it all the time when teams trade up to get a quarterback. You still get a haul after an awful rookie season. Josh Rosen yielded a 2nd and a 5th. I don't think you're getting multiple picks for Sam Darnold, but I think you can get just a singular 2nd-round pick or a singular 3rd-round pick for Sam Darnold in the trade market. What are your thoughts? Let's see. Matt, what are your top options for DC? We talked about DC a little bit. Krishard was definitely one of the names that I mentioned, and also guys like Marvin Lewis or Dan Quinn, I absolutely think could be options. Which teams could pick up Darnold for a second? Okay, 49ers could absolutely be in the mix for Sam Darnold. A team like Pittsburgh might be interested in Sam Darnold. A team like the Colts could be interested in Sam Darnold. I think teams with older quarterbacks who are picking a little bit later, like I thought maybe the Panthers for a while, but I think they'll be in a position to get one of Wilson or Fields. Maybe the Eagles. I don't. I think they'll probably stick with who they drafted in the second round this past year. If I had to put a number on it, I would say I'll give you 4 teams. The Bears, one that I didn't mention that I forgot about. The Bears absolutely should be in the mix for a guy like Sam Darnold. San Francisco, Indianapolis, and Pittsburgh. Those are my 4 teams. How much longer do Gary V buys the team? Hopefully very soon. Hopefully very, very soon, because I love Gary V. I love his energy, and he'd be great. What are the chances we make Bengals think we go in Sewell and get them to trade up? I think it's absolutely high. I really do think it's high because that's the player that they need, so that gives the Jets a little bit of leverage. So if you move back, then good. Okay, what about Wilson's injury history? Does that scare you even a little bit? His frame is very small for 2 shoulder injuries. He still throws the ball really hard, which I think that gives me a little bit more hope. I understand the injuries, but a lot of time. So here's the thing. Most people, I'm not saying that's what you think, it's Snoopy, but most people are like, well, keep Sam Darnold instead. Well, Sam's missed time in each of his first 3 years. Yes, there is a little bit of concern with the injuries. There's no doubt about it, but I like him as a prospect more than Fields, even with the injuries. So that's the guy that I would take in that spot. Oh, Giants fan extend Adam Gase. Guess what? Removed. Goodbye. Long-term solution going forward is hire a new coach and draft a new quarterback. I agree. I'm with you on that. I got Baker, Matt Ryan, and Rivers. I would go Baker and Ryan. Let's see what else we got. This is fun. I like hanging out with you guys. I'm going to be on for a few more minutes before this game. Is there even a possibility we get the 3rd pick? No, I'm pretty sure with the Bengals win that they already clinched that. Here, I'll boost the audio up a little bit. I just don't want it to get too echoey. Hopefully that does the trick and makes it a little bit better for you guys. Here, I'll add that a touch too. Yeah, like I said, do not extend Adam Gase, of course. Long-time listener. After we take quarterback with the 1st pick, I'm leaning towards edge rusher with Seattle's pick. What are your thoughts? Okay, I have 4 positions that I'm comfortable with. Edge is one, corner is another one, wide receiver is another one, and interior offensive line I think is my favorite one. Build up that interior line. I really want to sign one of Thuney or Sheriff and draft a Wyatt Davis, Creed Humphrey, someone like that in the late 1st round with the Seattle pick. So I still think there's a chance the Jags will win today. Minshew isn't starting. That scares me a little bit. I think they'd have a better chance with Minshew as the starting quarterback. Maybe Mike Glennon revenge game. That could be our spin. Let's see. I'm feeling super ill right now, but hopefully a Jags win will make me feel better today. Hope so. I absolutely do hope so. Hey, what's up? Killian? I don't know. No, I don't follow Brett Killian. I don't think. If Mike Glenn takes a hit, Minshew comes in. Sure. Sign Matt Judon. I like Matt Judon. Josh McCown for head coach. No. Absolutely all Jaguars fans today. Do you move on from McGovern? No. I think he's either playing center or guard for this team next year. And yes, he can play guard, which is makes him valuable in my eyes. Would build a statue of Mike Lennon toppling Mitch Trubisky if the Jaguars win? Absolutely. That'd be awesome. Jags don't have James Robinson. Yep, that's not going to be good. If not, Tyler, keep Sam, build a line, draft in the draft, sign A-Rob, sign Matt Stafford. No, not signing Matt Stafford. It's going to be too much money. If Joe D keeps Sam Darnold and doesn't want to pick Sewell, what would you think about trading back for Patrick Surtain? Yeah, I would do it. I would. I like both of those guys. I would take Sewell at 2. George Fan. I wouldn't take, Sewell at 2. George Fan has been solid. You can sell me on trading back and not taking a tackle. I agree with you. I think guard is the bigger need on this team. Jags will blow out the Bears, but then the Jets will win against the depleted Cleveland squad. No, don't put that energy out there. Is Elflein playing good or bad? I would lean more towards bad. I don't think he's been good in pass protection. He's been okay in the run game. Hope for the best, prepared for the worst. Jets fans' life. I absolutely get that. Oh, my God. Talk about the life as a Jets fan. That's the absolute worst. Hate it. Maybe the Jaguars can tie with the Bears today. We still benefit from a tie. Do we still benefit? I guess you're right. $15 inches of snow this week. Where are we getting 15 inches of snow? I hope not. What's the point of firing Gase today if they lose? Should have done it weeks ago. They should have done it after the first year. They shouldn't have hired him, but if you're going to do it, they should have done it after year 1, and maybe you'd have a chance of Sam Darnold. Is Lawrence Gager healthy? He's not playing today. He's a scratch, so I think he's healthy, but just not playing in this game. We want negative Jets energy here. How many yards for Hunt? They split time. So I'm going to say they combined for 100 yards. We'll go 60 with Chubb, 40 for Hunt. Can we talk about Cam Clark? Can this kid play? I would love to see this kid play for 2 starts down the stretch here. Maybe he is a long-term answer at guard. Could be. But I would absolutely rather see him in the lineup than any of those stopgap options that they've been plugging in for Alex Lewis in his absence. Who is the best wide receiver in this class, in your opinion? It's close. But I would probably say Jamar Chase. You can make the case for one of the Alabama guys, but I think it's Chase by a nose. Yes, Cam Clark. Well, Cam Clark is active. I don't know if he's playing or getting the start. Why is our franchise cursed? I don't know. I think maybe, what's his name, Joe Namath, sold his soul, rather, to the devil in order to get that Super Bowl. Do you think we could trade down for Zach Wilson? No, I think he's going to go in the top 5. So if you trade down one spot with maybe, but I would just take him at 2. I think he's worthy of the number 2 pick, as is Justin Fields, if that's who you prefer. Frank Gore, 20 carries over under. God, it better be under. It better be under. Lavish, yes, Clark was a tackle, but projects more as a guard or an interior offensive lineman at the next level because of his size. Do you do this every week? No, this is the first time that I've done it. Might do it more in the future. This has been fun. I like hanging out with you guys. Jags fans were calling for Minshew to be benched earlier this year than they call for Glenn on the giraffe. LOL. I think the Jets are going to win today. Would it be shocking? I don't know. I don't know what to expect from this team anymore. Nothing shocks me. Thoughts on Lance these days? Feel like Wilson gets much more airtime. I think Trey Lance is quarterback 4 in this draft class. I think he's good. It definitely hurt him because North Dakota State didn't play this year. They only had that one game. So I think he was most people's quarterback 3 going into this year, but I think he drops down a spot for me. Would you be mad if we won because Darnold lit it up? No, I wouldn't be. If the Jets win 6-0, then I would probably be a little bit mad. If it's a defensive struggle, but if Darnold throws for 400 yards and 3 touchdowns and they win, no, I'm going to enjoy that. I won't be shocked if the Jets win. I also won't be shocked if they lose by 30. Life of a Jets fan. How would you feel if the Jets traded their second pick to the Panthers, considering they want a quarterback for their first rounder and the second round pick? That way they get a quarterback 4 and a free pick. I think that's risky if you know a team's trading up for a quarterback and you're also taking a quarterback. Take the one you want. Don't settle for the quarterback that's there. Still high on PJ Fleck. Yes, I am. I like PJ Fleck. I think he and his row the boat mentality would be good for the NFL. I want to see Johnson and Perrine split reps. Absolutely more Ty Johnson, please. Perrine back. I think he's been okay this year as a rookie. I don't think he's done anything great. I don't think he's been bad. I think he's been So we'll see from Perrine. The Jets like to tease us. They play horrible and then look really good. I wouldn't say that they weren't really good last week. They won the game, but they did everything in their power to give that game away. They left so many points on the board, settling for field goals. Their defense played well. The offense, again, was not good last week. It really wasn't. Johnson is decent. I agree. I think Johnson could potentially be someone that they look to bring back and be a part of the running back rotation next year. I like what I've seen from Johnson. He looks like he's their best back, to be honest with you. Have you seen that Gase? Yes, I have seen that the Gase rumors, Logan. I don't know if I buy into it. The Jets haven't fired a coach midseason in a long time. Najee Harris is a must draft for us, in my opinion. Taking a running back that early is I'll say this. If you don't trade Sam Darnold, then no, I'm not doing that. If you trade Sam Darnold and have 2 second-round picks and using one of them on a running back like Najee Harris, I would do it. Trade for Wentz? Absolutely not. I do not want any part of that contract. Love your channel, dude. Thank you. Much appreciated. What's your take on certain Jets players getting harassed on social media by winning last week? That's atrocious. I don't bother the players. I've said it a million times on this channel, but I'll say it again. The players and coaches are not trying to tank. The fans can talk about the tank all they want. Fans can be upset that the team won. I don't agree with guys like Mekhi Becton saying that you're not a real fan if you're rooting for losses. I don't think that's right, but to go after Mekhi Becton's mom on social media, Brandon Mitten, disgusting. Don't do that. It's ridiculous. Let the players do their thing. They're trying to win games. They're trying to put good tape out there. It's ridiculous. It really is. What do you think about the UNC running backs? I honestly don't know too much about them. Please answer my voicemails once in a while. I'm sorry, man. When do you call in? I record on Tuesday nights. So and there's a lot of them. So I'm sorry if I don't get to yours. I really am. You have a better chance of getting on if you call closer to when I record. Travis Etienne in the second round. I don't think he makes it there. What price to re-sign Marcus Maye? 4 years, $40 million, about $10 million a year is going to be my guess. Jersey Joe, if the Jets draft a new quarterback and get rid of Sam Darnold, do you stick with Joe Flacco or play James Morgan? James Morgan has given me no indication that he could be a backup quarterback at this point, so I guess I'd bring back Joe Flacco. Would you trade Darnold for a late first? Absolutely. I don't think you're getting a late first, though. I think you're getting a second or third round pick for him. A couple more, and then I'm going to hop out of here and get ready for this game. Thoughts on trading for Zeke? No, I don't want that contract. I would rather sign a Jamal Williams on the cheap than trade and give up assets for a running back with a big-time contract. Haven't been watching the Jets play. What's the main reason for their losses, and what can we expect from this game? Thank God you haven't watched them play. Terrible coaching, bad quarterback play. That's really the main culprits for why they're losing. Lack of talent in certain positions. But to me, the biggest thing is Gase's terrible decisions in game planning, Greg Williams getting too aggressive, especially in the Raiders game, and Sam Darnold not playing well are the biggest things to me. Take Wyatt Davis and Sewell and then sign Sheriff. That's a good O-line. That's a phenomenal O-line. I agree 100%. What do you think about Zach and the Jets? Love Zach Wilson for sure. Would you sign a cheap receiver and sign Allen Robinson and Joe Thuney? I absolutely would. I am all for adding as much wide receiver depth as humanly possible. Any chance Christopher Johnson apologized to Jets fans at the end of the season in a final statement as acting owner? He better, because this has been an absolute disgrace what his teams have put on the field over the last few years. Thoughts on bringing in Winston or Mariota, or any chance for competition for Sam, assuming them make the error of sticking with him? I think that would cause too much drama, and I don't think that would be good for them either. I think you either roll with Sam and get just like someone who you feel comfortable with as a backup like Flacco, or you move on from him. I think this whole quarterback competition thing never tends to work out, especially for the Jets. Over under on JD's draft day trades this year. I say 3. I would take the under on that. Should the Jets trade Crowder? No, I would keep him for the next quarterback. I think he's one of the more underrated slot guys and one of the better slot guys in the league. I want the guard from the Washington football team. Agree. I would love Sheriff on this team. I think he's a top 3 guard in the sport right now. How likely are the Jags to win, and what do you think about getting Urban Meyer? I really don't think Urban Meyer is going to coach the Jets or in the NFL. I think he's either going back to college or staying on TV. What running backs are you looking in the draft other than Etienne and Harris or free agency to pair with Ty Johnson? I think you can go with like a Chuba Hubbard in round 3, or I like Jamal Williams a lot, or maybe you can trade for Tony Pollard or someone like that. Let's see what else we got. What do you think Joe D will do in the draft? Quarterback, offensive line, edge, corner. Big time positions in need. I don't think he's going to take a tight end early. I know some people have mocked tight end to the Jets with the 33rd or 34th pick. I don't think he's going to draft one that early. I really don't. Should we keep Pat Elflein? I don't know. I don't think he's been that good. Yes, P. Ryan's playing today. I don't know if he's going to get a ton of reps, though. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be mostly Gore and Ty Johnson. Is Zuniga playing today? I believe Zuniga's playing. He hasn't done a whole lot for this team, but we'll see. What else do we got? A couple more, and then I'm hopping out of here. Let's see. Should we trade C.J. Mosley? I don't think you're going to be able to trade that contract. I think you just hope that he can play at a above average level. I don't think he's going to be a Pro Bowl level player, but if he can give you solid play, then okay, you roll with it. I really think we need a solid running back in this draft. Okay, I could see them going running back. What's up with you and Sam? It's like you hate him. I don't hate him. I actually really like him. I think he's a guy that is a really good dude. I have nothing personal against Sam Darnold. He is statistically the worst quarterback in football right now, going into his 4th year in the league. That's it. I think people have too much of an emotional attachment to Sam Darnold. That's all. No, I don't think Jamal Adams comes back. I think that ship is long sailed. Would you pick that tackle and draft Mac Jones with the Seahawks pick? No, I think I'm not as high as Mac Jones as other people are. I think he gets picked earlier than that anyway. Mims gets a touchdown today. God, I hope so. I really hope he does. He deserves it. He's played really well this year as a rookie, and the fact that he doesn't have a touchdown is a little scary. What else we got going on in the chat? I'll have a post-game video up shortly after the game, by the way. Usually about an hour after the game, after we record, edit, upload. Would you compare Darnold to Bortles, or is that pushing it? Nope, that is not pushing it. His stats are fairly similar to Blake Bortles so far. Is he more talented? Yes, but statistically, he is very much on par for what Blake Bortles did over his first 3 years in the league. I think they should trade Sam Darnold, but I don't know if they will. They might stick with him. Can't believe we never saw CJ and Avery together. That's so true and so Jets at the same time. Do you think Kyle Trask will be a good player? I'm not high on him. I don't think he can move that well in the pocket. To me, he's like a statue. Sucks that Quinnen isn't playing. He's been good this season. Yeah, he's been probably the Jets' best player. Him or Becton have been the Jets' best player this year. If things shake out where the Jets get the number 1 pick back, would you fire JD and Gase to give full team control to a real head coach? No, I'm not firing Joe Douglas. I think this has to be Joe Douglas's team. Love the Josh Allen Sam Darnold comparison video. Thank you. It was a tough one to make, but I think it was fair to both of those players. Do we go corner in first round? I would bet no. I think they'd go with quarterback, interior, offensive line with the 2 first-round picks. Will Lance fall to the Seattle pick? No, I think he is a top 15 pick. Trade or release Blake Cashman? No one's taking on his injury history. Just release Blake Cashman. Okay, this is going to be my last question. So do you think the Jets are going to poach our OC, Brian Daboll? I really hope so. I like Brian Daboll a lot. He's probably my second favorite offensive coordinator option behind Joe Brady. I'll say that maybe not. Of the top 3 offensive coordinators for head coach, I go Joe Brady, Brian Daboll, and Arthur Smith in no particular order. So those are my 3 favorites. So that's going to be it for me on the stream. Hopped on for about 45 minutes talking with you guys. It's a lot of fun. So after the game, like I said, I'll have the post-game video up. Thanks so much for sticking with me. I'm Matt O'Leary. Make sure to subscribe if you're new here. Just Jets podcast, where I answer questions and stuff like that. Very similar format to this. Drops every Wednesday if you're interested. So stay tuned for that. And go Jets, I guess, or go Browns. Go Browns, but go Jags.